This program is proudly brought to you by Toyota.
It's a very good afternoon to you and to all the viewers out there. 3 minutes after 4 o'clock with Barry Fair and Alex Taylor on a very, very, very chilly afternoon. It feels like we're walking into the frozen food section of a Woolworths supermarket. So our advice to you today is really keep warm and wear warm clothes. And with winter now knocking on the door, you need to get your flu vax and your COVID shots. And joining me now in the studio is Alex Taylor. Good afternoon to you. Welcome to episode 108.
Thanks, Barry, and thanks for having me on the show.
Well, winter, we all hate it, don't we? But if we want to stay well and healthy, get your flu shots, have vitamin C, have good food, warm food, and not junk food. Here's Alec now to open episode 108 with this.
Yeah, thanks, mate. Yeah, it is. It definitely has turned cold, hasn't it? And we're really into winter now. And as you say, yeah, good time to get your flu shots and stay warm and eat lots of yummy warm foods.
And the foods are porridge, soups, casseroles, stews, you name it. And even the toasted sandwiches for your lunch with a mug of hot soup. Here's Alec.
Yeah, they are all fantastic ideas, aren't they? So porridge for breakfast, toasted sandwiches, soup. Soup is a fantastic, yummy, and healthy food to eat in winter. So great ideas.
So, the importance of keeping warm, okay? If you haven't got anything warm on and you're out in the cold, you can get sick very, very easily. Here is Alec now for this.
Yeah, so we definitely need to rug up now, don't we? And particularly on a windy day like today when the wind chill was high, very cold weather. So make sure that you rug up in warm clothes, nice warm jumpers and woolly warm socks. And yeah, stay warm and stay healthy in winter.
So, another important rule too, do not use faulty electrical appliances in winter, or be an idiot or smoke in your bed, because that's how house fires start. Here's Alec.
Yeah, great tips, mate, about what to do from a fire safety point of view. Make sure that all of your appliances are in good condition and none of the cables are frayed or breaking. They can start a fire, and yeah, people smoking in bed is kind of crazy, isn't it? It does seem like a silly thing to do, and these days most people don't smoke anyway. But yeah, not those things are not good things, and they're definitely a fire hazard.
And get your fire alarm checked, right? And make sure that your smoke detectors are working as well. Here's Alec.
Yes, and that is a great tip, mate. And smoke detectors are mandatory now, aren't they, in all households in Australia, you have to have smoke detectors and they have to be working. Usually, if they're not working, they chirp at you. Have you ever had a chirping?
No.
Yeah, well, sometimes when their backup batteries get low, they start chirping and you have to change them. But very important to have good working smoke detectors everywhere in your house so that if there is a fire, you get warning in time and you can get out and get away from it.
And always do a roll call. Make sure that everyone is accounted for and know where your nearest evacuation point is. Like here, outside the house, our evacuation point is down the driveway and down at the park there. And make sure you have notified someone or elected somebody to ring 000. Here's Alec.
Yeah, all good tips, mate. So make sure you've got a meeting place in the event of emergency and an evacuation. You know where you're all going to meet up. Do a head count to make sure you've got the right number of people for your household. And yeah, make sure that someone has called emergency services.
And never, and we repeat, never go back into a burning building. Get out of there as fast as you can. Here's Alec.
Yeah, that's a very important piece of advice, isn't it? And it can be really tough if somebody thinks that they've left someone behind, they are tempted to go back in, and quite often they do go back in and then they pass away or get hurt, don't they? So you really should not go back into a burning building to try and rescue someone. Hopefully you can get everybody on the way out, right? That's what you really should hopefully do. Make sure that everybody gets out in the first place.
And make sure that you have got everything organized, like your first aid kit, your roll call sheets, everything like that. Here's Alec.
Yep, that's good advice, mate. So being organised, making sure you know what the process is, a roll call sheet. Yeah, all of these are really good things that you can get organised, you know, well in advance of any kind of evacuation or emergency, isn't it? Also good to have a drill, I guess. Have you ever had a fire drill?
Yes.
Yeah, they're interesting, aren't they?
And make sure that if someone is hurt, make sure you inform the ambulance in case someone has burns and have a clear pathway for the paramedics to get to. Here's Alec.
Yeah, that's also important, isn't it? So sometimes people can get hurt in those kinds of situations. And if someone is hurt, do make sure that an ambulance is on the way, and that it's easy for the paramedics to get to the person who needs their help.
And make sure you have a mobile phone charged up. So if your phone is not working, okay, make sure your mobile is charged. Here's Alec.
Yeah, and it's actually a pretty good idea to kind of charge your phone overnight anyway, isn't it? And that way it'll always be ready, and you can just grab it on the way out and call 000 or yeah, anyone that you need to call. So yeah, good to have your phone charged.
And make sure that you know that everyone is out and cared for. Here's Alec.
Yeah, and that's really the most important thing, isn't it? Make sure that everybody who is in the house is out of the house and they're all accounted for and cared for.
So we will continue with winter in just a sec. well, it's winter time, and like we've opened the show with, look after your health, okay? Now that we've spoken about fire drills, let's talk about having good car batteries for your car. Now, with winter well upon us now, you really need to have a good battery. Here, Alec.
You're talking about a car battery so that it starts in the morning?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, and it's always an important thing, an important part of a car to make sure it's got a working battery. And quite often, when it's starting to stop working, you quite often will get a warning message in a lot of new cars. But sometimes, particularly in older cars and vans, the car just simply won't start. So it is a good idea to make sure that your battery is in good health and you don't leave it too late.
And what you can do before you start driving it, okay? If you've got a manual car, you can put it in the neutral, pump it a couple of times, then go to start it, but if it goes it means that either the battery's cold flat or the engine's cold. Here's Alec.
Yeah, that's right. And if it's not turning over properly, it probably is a problem with the battery. And in those situations, it can be quite tricky. If you've got some jumper leads, you can sometimes get another car to jump start the car. But if you don't have that, then you usually need to call either a battery service or a roadside service.
Like the NRMA.
Exactly, yeah, NRMA to come out and help you get started. Sometimes they have batteries, spare batteries, but there are also some organisations that just do batteries. So that if you need a battery, they will just come out to you and help you with your battery.
Yeah, and with winter, guys, you really have to be careful when driving because there could be ice on the road. So if you're going somewhere like the Blue Mountains, listen to the radio reports, okay, to find out whether the road is open or not. Here's Alec.
Yeah, there can be ice on the roads, can't there? Particularly in the mountains, like up in the Blue Mountains or the Snowy Mountains. There quite often is ice on the road. And in some places, particularly in the Snowy Mountains, you're actually required to have chains for your car, just in case there's snow and ice on the road. But usually around Sydney, we don't have that problem. You can get ice on the road. You just need to be careful when you're driving on.
And make sure you listen to the forecast too before you head out.
Yeah.
It might be a good idea to listen to the report. Okay, find out whether it is safe enough for you and your family to drive. Because the last thing you want to have happen is risk your own life on the road. Here's Alex.
Yeah, absolutely. Always a good idea to keep an eye on the weather. Look it up on your phone and find out if there are any road closures or if there are any issues. So you can make sure that you plan your trip well and you get to where you're going in one piece.
And if you're going somewhere like the Blue Mountains, make sure you are rugged up well, okay? Make sure you've got thermoses packed, accommodation booked, okay? And make sure you ask the hotel staff, have they got heating in every room? Here's Alec.
Yes, that's a really good idea, and particularly if you're booking somewhere to go and stay in, it's a great idea to make sure that they've got heating if you're going in winter, and that way you won't be cold when you stay there.
Because often the hotel staff will have the fire already going for you. And make sure you've got enough warm clothing, because if you're going to be sitting outside at night, make sure you rug up well. Here's Alec.
Yes, really important to take warm clothes, and it can get really cold overnight, can't it? Especially if you're up in the mountains, it can be very, very cold. So things like beanies, gloves, scarves, like a jacket, even a coat, lots of warm clothes to stay warm, particularly if you're going to go out at night.
And make sure that you've got enough cough medicine and lozenges if somebody in the family may be sick. Here's Alec.
Yeah, good idea to take some first aid if you're heading away, and yeah, have some throat lozenges or maybe some ibuprofen or paracetamol for painkiller. So, good idea to take a few bits and pieces, maybe some band-aids in a first aid kit when you go away.
And make sure you know where the nearest hospital is. It might be a good idea also to look up where the nearest medical center is or your local hospital. Here's Alec.
Yeah, it is a good idea to know where they are. Usually you can do that on the fly. So if you need a medical centre, you can usually look it up pretty quickly. So you don't necessarily need to do that before you go, but it is a good idea to know that there is one around. And there's in most of Australia, there's a hospital somewhere nearby, isn't there? I think out in the country it can be quite a way away, but it is good to know where the nearest hospital is.
So, and also if you're camping out, make sure that you have something warm to keep you warm, like a parka or long pants or a jacket. Here's Alec.
Oh, for sure. So, if you're camping in particular, you will definitely need very warm clothes and a warm sleeping bag too, right? Because tents are very, very cold. The cold goes straight through tents. So, if you are camping in winter, you need to make sure you've got a very, very warm sleeping bag and nice warm clothes to sleep in, and then warm clothes to get about when you're outside the tent.
And make sure that you've got enough money to pay for everything, because if you need to get petrol for the car or although nobody uses, some cars don't even, some have petrol tanks, they have special tanks, I think. We could be wrong, but always make sure you've got enough petrol to get you from A to B. Here's Alec.
Yeah, absolutely. So make sure you've got enough money for petrol, and your car has lots of petrol. Or if, as you say, it's an electric car, it's all charged up before you go away, and that maybe there's a place to charge it along the way. A fast charger somewhere that you can pay to put some more electricity in your car.
And make sure that you service your car before going away. We have also said this on the show many times. Here's Alec.
Yeah, it is a great idea, particularly if you're going on a road trip, where you're gonna drive a lot of kilometres, to make sure that the car is in good condition, and it is a really good idea to get it serviced.
And don't leave it until it's too late, because we have also said on the show that the mechanics may be closed, or you might have to be your own food supply or your own mechanic, because remember, there are no friendly service stations out in Whoop Whoop here that way.
Yeah, so and it kind of really depends on where you're going. But if you are going into really a remote place, you can't rely on there being a service station or a mechanic, can you? So you need to make sure your car's in really good condition. It's not going to break down, and you're ready for anything basically.
And also, if you might have to pick up an alert card to inform like Birdsville on where you're going. Okay, and then once you get to Birdsville, find somewhere to stay. Here's Alec.
Yeah, so I don't know much about Birdsville, but it is a very remote place, isn't it? And I don't know how many places there are to stay in Birdsville. Do you know, mate? Have you got a sense of it?
No.
No. But there's probably a hotel and somewhere, or maybe a motel for you to stay if you're staying in Birdsville. But it is a very remote place, isn't it? A long way away from anywhere.
And check the condition of the road, because it could be snowing where you may be going. And if you get bogged well and there's no one around to help you, then you have had it. Here's Alec.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think really in Australia, the main place where you can get snowed, I think it's possible to get snowed in a few places in Tasmania, but the main place is in the Snowy Mountains, isn't it? And so between New South Wales and Victoria, that's where we get the most snow in Australia, and the roads do get covered in snow. And so it is a good idea to know what the conditions are before you're driving through that area in winter.
And also make sure you have good heating in the car. Make sure that your family is warm. Here's Alec.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a good idea to have some warm clothes in the car ready to hand. And most cars these days do have pretty good heating, don't they? And it's usually not something that will break down very often. So usually most cars are quite comfortable inside and have good heaters. But it is a good idea to have some spare clothes with you in the car.
And one last tip before we get on to segment 3 today. If you're going away, make sure you tell your next door neighbors and cancel the milk and newspapers. Here's Alec.
Yeah, it is a good idea to tell someone, isn't it? Let someone know that you're heading away, so they're not surprised when you're not around. Whether it's a neighbour or a friend, someone, it's always a good idea to let someone know that you're heading away.
So if you're going somewhere like Brisbane or Victoria or Adelaide or Perth, make sure you plan the trip properly. Here's Alec.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So a great big long trip like that will need quite a bit of preparation, won't it? So you'll need to think about the different legs, the different segments of the trip, how long they are, how much driving there'll be, where you'll stop, and where you'll have meals, and all of that stuff. All very important stuff that you need to plan. So if you're doing a really long one, definitely need to plan that ahead and really be quite organised around a whole bunch of that stuff.
And if you're taking someone in a wheelchair, guys, we have also said this a number of times on the show. Make sure you go to somewhere where there is wheelchair access. Here's Alex.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, mate. If you're traveling with someone in a wheelchair, that's part of the research, isn't it? Making sure that everywhere that you're going to stay is wheelchair friendly. And it can be quite tricky. So it is a very important thing to check out before you go away on a holiday.
Well, and I have a good winter's holiday and don't get too cold at night. Make sure you ask the staff when you arrive at your accommodation if they're heating. Here's Alex.
Yeah, always a good idea to make sure that there is heating and that you won't get too cold at night if you're traveling on a winter holiday.
Well, winter lasts for 3 months, so normally it will warm up towards the end of winter. And we're going to talk about now some warm foods to make during winter. Okay? We've said this a number of times. You can make casseroles, stews, bread and butter pudding, self-saucing pudding, you know. Excuse me. Excuse me. Self-saucing pudding and things like that. But like we say on the show, please check the use-by dates of ingredients. Here's Alex.
Yeah, all sorts of yummy things you can make. And as you say, always important to check that your ingredients are in date.
And if they smell off, again, we have said this on the show, bang, bin it. Okay? And speaking of recipes, we're gonna select one from the slices. And there they are, there it is there. That is a cheesecake slice. Yumbo.
Yeah.
And
do you want to choose? Do you know which recipe you want to choose?
I reckon coconut jam slice.
Very nice, mate.
So, how do you make a slice? Okay. First, you have to make the base. Okay. This consists of crushed up biscuits with melted butter, and then what you do with your base, you press it into a spring form, sliced tin, lined with baking paper. And sometimes you have to put it in the oven for a bit, but keep an eye on the oven, guys. Here's Alex.
Yeah, absolutely. Sounds really yummy. To make a slice. Here's the recipe, and there's the slice that you're talking about, coconut jam slice. And as you say, you can make the base first, cook it a little bit, then let it cool down, and then put the jam over the top of it.
So, cooking in the kitchen, guys, okay? It is really important that you have a good, clean, working surface, or a work surface, we like to call them. Here's Alex.
Yeah, absolutely. That's really good hygiene, isn't it? You need to make sure that all your surfaces are clean, your utensils are clean, your food processor, if you're using it. You don't want to be spreading germs. You want it all to be hygienic and clean, and a nice clean surface for you to be cooking on.
Right, so like we just said a moment ago, okay, keep your workbenches clean because you don't know where the germs have been lying. Hear that?
Yeah, that's right, because germs get everywhere, don't they? So, people sort of touch their noses and then they touch the surface and then they touch the door handle and they touch this and touch that. So it is a really important thing to make sure that all of your surfaces, your work surfaces, particularly when you're cooking, are all nice and clean and hygienic.
So, to make this slice, the coconut slice, here's Alan to read out the ingredients for you.
Righto, so 1.5 cups of plain flour, 150 grams of butter, half a cup of icing sugar, a third of a cup of strawberry jam, and then the topping is a third of a cup of caster sugar, 2 eggs, and 2 cups of desiccated coconut toasted.
Now, how to toast coconut, okay? You can put it in the oven. But remember, guys, watch the coconut. Don't burn it. Here's Alec.
Yeah, that's good advice, mate. So you just want it very lightly toasted and starting to brown. You don't want to overdo it because you can burn it quite easily, can't you? So you just want it very lightly toasted.
And like we've also said on the show, if you've got kids in the kitchen, make sure you supervise them. Here's Alec.
Yeah, very important advice. And I think part of that supervision is teaching. From very early on, when kids are helping in the kitchen, you can teach them how to be safe, the things that they need to do to be careful and look after themselves, so that they will always be safe.
And the most important thing, don't let kids play with knives. Here's Alec.
Yeah, absolutely. No sharp things for children. Make sure that they're all away, out of reach, and in places that they can't get to. And also teach them, teach kids about how to be safe with sharp objects and hot objects and heavy objects. So make sure that they know to look after themselves and other people around them.
And don't have the oven too hot either, guys. That's another thing. Here's Alec.
Yeah, absolutely. So if it's too hot, what you're cooking might get cooked really quickly on the outside and not on the inside. So, and this particular recipe says to preheat the oven to a moderate 180 degrees Celsius.
So there is the recipe there. Okay, now the next one is a cheesecake slice. Okay, so I'll just pour that. And this one is a blueberry cheesecake slice. Now, this consists of a biscuit base, which you see here, and then blueberries and cream cheese. Now, what is cream cheese? I'm hearing you ask. Well, it can be used for sweet or savory fillings. Here's Alec.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is very yummy in a cheesecake, isn't it? And particularly with a yummy biscuit base and with fruit like blueberries, cheesecake can be super yummy.
So here is the recipe for you viewers again. So I don't have to read it out to you. So there you are. So when you subscribe to my channel, you will be able to look at that recipe. Well, as usual, it is coming to the end of episode 108. We would like to thank you so much for joining us this Tuesday, the 2nd of June, a very, very cold day out there today. And it's starting to get quite cold now. Here's Alec.
Yeah, super cold day today, particularly with the wind chill. Very, very chilly day here in Sydney. And yeah, going to get colder overnight as well.
So, we hope that you have enjoyed episode 108 today. And what I would like to say, remind you viewers of out there, the art show at our Lifestyles Centre at St. Ives. So if you're ever in the St. Ives area, okay, pop on in and have a look at the art show. So here's Alec.
Yeah, what a great suggestion, mate. So the art show is always a fantastic event to go along and see. So get yourself along to St. Ives and check it out. Check out some great artworks.
And while I'm speaking of things coming up, we have our radio gig on the 20th of June, and the songs listed, okay, the top 5 songs,
Yes.
okay. Manic Monday by the Bangles, okay. A Kind of Magic by Queen, Funky Town by Pseudo Echo, and number 4, Stuck With You, Huey Lewis and the News. And the closing song is Rain or Shine by 5 Star. So we will be talking about the events of 1986 and what TV shows came out that year and what other songs made the chart in 1986. Here's Alec to tell you about it.
Mate, it is going to be a lot of fun. Another studio session, and you've chosen some sensational music, all from 1986. Fantastic songs, including a song that I don't think I had heard before, Rain or Shine. The other songs, of course, I have heard of, but it's going to be a lot of fun hanging out, recording a show, listening to some awesome music from 1986.
And what were you doing in 86, Alec?
So in 1986, I was just starting high school. Yeah, and I think so. Yeah, I was just a little tacker still then, and I think I was just a little bit ahead of you, wasn't I? So in '86, you would have still been in primary school, is that right?
11 years old I was.
Yeah, so you would have been in year 5, and I was heading into year 7 in 1986, starting high school.
So we hope that you will tune into Radio Northern Beaches, because Alec and I, we have a lot of fun putting that show together and having a little chat in between, okay? So please do listen to Alec and I on the 20th of June, starting at 10 o'clock. So do listen. So before we do go today, our closing message, as always, 000. Don't be a fool with that number. Don't tie up the emergency services and told them inappropriate information. Here's Alec now to close episode 108 with this.
Yeah, thanks, Barry. Always a good community service announcement. Only use 000 in an emergency.
And that's all there is to it. So don't muck around with 000, guys. It's not worth getting caught or fined. Because you don't want the police knocking at the door. So until we see you again in 2 weeks from today, we hope that you have enjoyed the show. And a special thanks to all of you viewers out there and to everyone who watches. Now, Alec and I can't believe how fast the episodes have piled up. Here it is to tell you about.
Oh, mate, you have done so many over the years, haven't you? And 108 is just the latest series. Before that, you had done many, many, many episodes, hundreds of episodes in different series. And they've all been fantastic, and it's been a lot of fun and a real privilege and an honour to be a part of it, mate. So thanks for having me on your show.
So, and even as I'm winding this program up, where Alec and I are laying the foundations for the next program. So we certainly hope that you have learned something from this. And next time on the show, we're going to talk about how this program originally started. So we do hope that you will join us then. And do stay warm, guys, because like I said, winter is on the way, okay? And if you're not well, stay home, guys, and keep your hands, your germs to yourself. And if you've got COVID, stay isolated, guys. So at 14 minutes to 5 o'clock now, from myself, Barry Peer, and Alex Taylor, we wish you a very good evening. Stay safe on the roads and be kind to one another. And like I've always said on the show, it is nice to be nice. Here's Alan to tell you that now.
Thanks, mate. Really lovely message. Always be kind and be nice.
And if you've got a problem, guys, you know what to do. Sort it out in an adult-like way. So until Alec and I catch up with you in 14 days, thank you for watching episode 108 today. And this has been Barry here and Alex Taylor, and we wish you a very pleasant Tuesday night. But for now, it is time for us to bid you farewell. And have a safe, pleasant evening, everyone. But until we see you again, have a great Tuesday night and take care of yourselves. Have a nice rest. See you later. Bye-bye.
This program is proudly brought to you by Toyota.